push the button, baby. Just push the button. Push the button. 3, 2, 1. And we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sam José and Wine Talk.
Wait.
Oh.
Can you turn that off?
Yeah.
There we go.
Better sound. Sorry. So I am Sam, and this is
Jose.
And today we are welcome to Sam José. Well, every day we are. If you are following us, we did post a brand new video today, all about our tea day several weeks back, before Disney closed, before the whole COVID crisis and all that other great stuff that's been impacting all of us. Really quick at the beginning of the video, I just want to check in and see how everybody's doing. Hope you're doing well. These are definitely interesting times, as we've stated before, and we're going to continue these wine talks on Mondays and Fridays at 8 p.m. as it seems to be a pretty good way for us to kind of connect with everybody. So, yeah. Tonight we have a nice red blend. It's a red wine, and the label is RUNIK, we think is how it's pronounced. It's from a California vineyard and winery. I bought it at Aldi, so I don't know if it's an Aldi label, because Aldi itself has some wines that are all its own. Or they work with wineries that will bottle labels just for Aldi. So I don't know if it's an Aldi label. If you can find it at like Total Wine or other supermarkets, you may be able to. Some of their wines are national brands. So we're going to try this. It's a red blend. One thing to note hi Kim, welcome. Good to have you. So tonight we're drinking this red wine from Aldi. Show the label again for Kim. RUNIK. It's a red blend. So something to note if you don't know a lot about wines is red blends could be any mixture of the any grape actually. But in order to get the redness in the wine, that comes from the skins of the red grapes. So you're not going to get a red wine from a yellow or a green grape. It's impossible. You just can't. But you could blend it with the red wine and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference depending on the color or the notes that the winemaker are going for a particular wine. So additionally, Jose is going to be opening it with a new corkscrew that he got that is a cockatoo.
It's like a parrot. So look at this thing.
It's cute. For our friends who don't know, we work at a winery. And so we sometimes get samples or get different items in our wine shop that are fun or creative. This was actually something that we looked at potentially getting, but we didn't end up adding it to our wine shop.
I think we should have,
But he's loving it, and he wanted to show it off tonight, so I couldn't uncork the bottle because he wanted to do it live for you all this evening.
See?
It is a synthetic cork, so that's... It's I think the same cork. That's a pretty generic cork that I've seen come out of a lot of different types of wines. So it must be a standard generic cork you can buy. As far as the coloration, there's no indicator as far as the vineyard or winery on that. So today's conversation is going to be about great customer service and conversations with regard to that. This nice red blend is going to be our pairing of choice for that. We have never tried this wine before, so we're going to see how it pairs.
My glass so far away.
Well,
Nice
let's check it out. If you're drinking an adult beverage with us this evening, go ahead and write in the comments what you're joining us with. Again, as always, drink responsibly and make sure you don't trip on your way from the bathroom to the bedroom or vice versa, or to the kitchen. I guess that's an important thing as well. But it's good to have everybody watching. Let's try the wine first, and then we'll get into our stories. How does that sound? All right.
It smells like vanilla.
Yeah. It's got very heavy notes of vanilla on the front.
Ooh.
It is a little fruit forward on the nose. That's actually a nice blend. It's semi-dry. It's medium bodied. It's not very heavy, but it's probably a little more towards the heavy side.
It's light for me.
It's a medium. I guess medium.
I like a drier wine.
It doesn't have as much earthy notes or as you might get from some other red wines. It's a pretty accessible wine, as I like to call it, because most people would drink it and be like, "Oh, that's a good red wine." So let's continue on. We're going to talk about customer service stories, great customer service, because we want to talk about now. I'm going to quickly talk about a little bit of the past. Jose and I have worked in the theme park industry. We've worked in hospitality, events, and all this other great stuff over the years. We've had a lot of opportunity to encounter customers and be on the receiving end of customer service. We also like to go out and about in Orlando and some of the restaurants and all of these other places to really kind of get an experience. And that's kind of the world we live in, right? You go to these places to get experiences because that's life. Life is a compilation of experiences. So you go to a restaurant, you want a good experience. And that can be a seamless experience from the parking lot all the way through to you getting back in your car, you know? You want to be able to separate yourself from the world and just work into it. Liberty Vineyards from so Kim is drinking a great wine from New York.
Her
Cheers to
vineyard
that.
has some really delicious wines.
Yeah, it's in the comments. So if you want to know what she's drinking, it's listed right there. Looks like it's a hybrid grape. So those you get some really unique flavors with those hybrid grapes because they're just unique. So
Their ice wine is delicious.
yeah. She brought some in for us to try.
Yeah.
So customer service in our eyes is easy because we've done it consistently throughout our entire careers. We have worked alongside customers or guests, or we are serving the public in some ways. And so when we encounter bad situations, it's hard to process because we are on the giving end and the receiving end of good customer service a lot. And being in Orlando, we see a lot of great hospitality. We also see some bad stuff, but we want to focus on the good tonight because it's so easy to provide good customer service. Yeah. So I've been talking since the beginning, so I'm gonna let Jose jump in and he's gonna tell his story while I enjoy a little of this wine.
You're getting used to me starting out the stories now.
Yeah.
Gin bean peach with ginger ale.
Ginger ale.
Nice.
Again, Denise, I love the ginger.
Okay, so one of the times that I received good customer service, it was on a trip that we went to Chicago. And let me tell you, everybody in Chicago, every single person that I interacted with was beyond nice. I don't know if it's just...
He'd never been to the Midwest before.
But everybody was just terrific. And I was like, oh, okay. But we went to go grab something to eat in the morning. We were going to go up the Willis Tower that morning.
Formerly known as the Sears Tower.
Yeah. And so we stopped to get some coffee and stuff and something to eat before we started our day. So we, looking at the menu, this girl's like, hey, are you ready? And I was like, no, just, so trying to figure it out. Made up my mind, ordered my coffee, and my breakfast burrito, I think is what I got. And they usually call your name out to grab your coffee and whatever. So I'm sitting down, nobody has brought my coffee. So I go up to the counter and I'm just standing there just to see what's going on. And she's like, are you waiting on something? And I'm like, yeah, my coffee. Out of nowhere, this other gentleman comes in and he's like, what was it? And I'm like, oh, it was just this. And it was just a basic coffee. And he's like, okay, well, here you go. I made you a large one. So we apologize about that and whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thank you so much, whatever. They didn't have to do that. But then the lady that was actually taking care of me that took my order, she's like, wait, before you go, do you like brownies? And I'm like, who doesn't love brownies? And she's like, what if I put some powdered sugar on top too? Okay. So just because I waited an extra 2 minutes because they forgot to make that coffee, she just went ahead and decided to just throw in a little extra something that really made a whole entire difference on my day, because that usually never happens to me. And me coming in from a customer service standpoint, it's something so small that I don't really think about it. But when it actually happened to me, I was like, oh, that was actually very nice. And then side note, that place had really good pickles. If you know us. If you know us.
I don't like pickles, but I always take a bite of it when that's put on the side. And every once in a while, there's one that I'm like, huh, that's a good pickle.
Yeah. So we always tried every single pickle. And there was our food came in with a pickle. And it was a good pickle.
It's kind of a running joke.
But yeah, that was one of the times that I received really good customer service. Of course, there's so many places that I've received great customer service above and beyond. And I try to make sure that they get recognized for that, even if it's just asking for the manager and saying, hey, you guys did a really good job.
Oh yeah.
Just make sure that, they're aware, because it does make a difference in somebody's day when somebody does kind of mention that and brings that up.
Yeah. There's a couple of other situations that I can think of where I've encountered great customer service from different companies. One airline that I received great customer service one was Southwest Airlines, and also in Chicago. I was headed to Midway Airport to take. I was on the train to the airport to take my flight home, and as I was on the train, I got an email that stated my flight was delayed by 3 hours. I was already on the train. I was headed there 2 hours before the flight. You know how it is, and it was early morning on like a Sunday or something, so it wasn't even like the trains were busy. So I was like, I've got my book, I'll just read in the terminal. And so here I am sitting and reading in the terminal, no big deal. And all of a sudden my name's called to report to the desk. And I go up because I'm like, I was like, hopefully the flight's not canceled. Like, what do I have to deal with now, right? And they just gave everybody on the flight a $300 voucher to fly as a thank you because the flight was delayed 3 hours. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Yeah. My flight cost less than that. So I got to fly within the next year. I got to fly again on Southwest for something that was,
it's better than just a bottle of water and a Snickers bar.
It was like, to me, I was dumbfounded because like delays happen all the time on airlines and nobody just gives you something. So I don't know if there was something else tied to it, but they literally called everybody who was on the plane and everybody got the voucher because I saw them. My last name is Cloward, right? So in the C's, and they called all of the names after, like they were calling them up and giving them all vouchers. And I thought that was incredible. So good customer service is very easy. And have I flown Southwest again after that? Absolutely. And a lot of people complain about them, but I've had better service on Southwest than Delta. And I have flown Delta, and he knows this is a side story because we're focusing on the good. But I've flown Delta many times, and they've disappointed me every single time. But that's a side issue. But Southwest, this situation was incredible, and I felt valued as a customer. So I therefore will continue to choose to fly on Southwest when I'm able to, and the costs are right, And I was appreciative of it. So, and now I'm talking about how great their service was in this one incident. So, and there was actually some other ones, but one other quick story, and then we'll jump to a situation where we've provided good customer service. But one story I want to bring up because it has to do with both of us. Last summer we took a cruise in the Mediterranean. So we flew into Barcelona. And flying in, I was hoping to sleep on the plane. Like, it was exhausting, and I even took a sleeping pill, but my insomnia kicked in and I did not sleep for the 8-hour flight. I just didn't. Yep. When we landed in Barcelona, we had a layover in Paris, but when we landed in Barcelona, we were exhausted. And it was probably 11 a.m., I want to say.
It's one of those things that you're like, you get up and you're like, I'm so excited, we're here. And then reality hits you and smacks you right in the face.
Yeah.
And then we realized we're running on 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep.
We had expected to sleep on the plane, which just didn't happen. And so we had to kind of replan our day, but we got to the hotel and I was planning on dropping the bags at the hotel, having them hold it for us because I knew the room wouldn't be ready. And then going to do stuff, but we were so exhausted. So we went to check in and I said, hey, I know we're early. Can we leave our bags here? And she said, well, I have a room available for you, or if you want to wait, which I recommend. And she just kind of leaned over, and this was in very broken English because we were in Barcelona. So she was doing us a favor by speaking English, first and foremost, because we saw a guy in Italy yell at a lady for speaking at him in Italian. And I was like, but it was a British guy yelling at some Italian lady. And I was like, he said, stop speaking that gibberish to me. And I was like, that's actually Italian, and that's their native language to this country. I don't understand why you're upset. But so this, the front desk agent, she said, here's what you can do. She said, I'll hold the bags. If you want, it's only $10 or $15 or whatever to go into the spa, I think. Mm-hmm. And we said we would wait because we, having worked on the other side of the desk before, knew that she was trying to tell us something.
Yeah.
So we went along with it. And we ended up paying for the spa package, and we went into the spa and relaxed for several hours.
Which was really nice after a long flight.
Which was actually really incredible because there was no one else in there, and they had the steam room and the aromatherapy room and the hot tub, and there were low lighting, and they had this fiber optics in the ceiling, and
It was nice.
it was a really nice spa for $15. I was like, okay. 15 euro, so which was probably closer to $20. But anyway, we were exhausted and we needed something. Well, when we finally went to check in, she said our room would be available at 3. So we had about 4 hours. So we kind of lounged around in the spa. We went upstairs. We checked in. She had upgraded us to the junior suite, which had like multiple rooms within the room. It was like an apartment. And we were only there for one night, but it had like this huge jacuzzi pool and all this other great stuff. And it was just really fun. I was impressed. And she was just very kind. And the way she approached it was really easy. And I've worked front desk before. I did it at Disney. And being able to upgrade someone is a great experience. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to get to kind of a situation where we've been able to provide customer service. So let Jose start with that.
Well, there's so many that I can think of, because like Sam said, it is really easy to provide really good customer service. But one of them, it was when I was working at Universal. I was working at Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. And if you guys are from Florida or Orlando, have heard about Universal, it's the red coaster that goes straight up and then it has a drop in, the loop and all that stuff.
Music's playing,
it's recording you get to make a music video.
It's dynamic.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. But there was this dad and his son. They rode, and the little kid was kind of scared. He was sitting in the front row with his dad. Fortunately, the kid was going through the ride. He got sick and came back, and it was just all tears, and there was just the clothes were just full of,
Blech.
the fun stuff. So I automatically, because I was in our control booth, and I run down just to make sure that they're okay. And he's like, we're just embarrassed. It's okay. It was my fault. I forced him to get on this. Blah, blah. And I was like, no big deal. I just want to make sure that you guys are okay. And then I actually said, if you guys wait for me right here, give me your, clothes size, and I'll get you guys a different pair of clothes. So you're not walking around or dealing with that, because it was 11:30 in the morning. So they still had the whole entire day to have fun and enjoy it. And I didn't want that experience to ruin the whole entire day for them. I got shirts, pants, socks, shoes, the whole entire wardrobe. The kid got a souvenir to take home with him as well. And then I accommodated him to other rides, which that's going above and beyond. But it really didn't take me more than 30 minutes to do all of that stuff. And it's so easy to do it. And they actually came back 2 weeks later and then saw me back on the ride, and they were just saying thank you and blah, blah, blah. They wanted me to call the manager so they can actually say thank you as well. They went to guest services. So it was really nice that they appreciated what I did for them, and then they actually came back and made sure that I was recognized for all of that. Mm-hmm. Which really, it did not cost me anything, except 30 minutes of my time.
Yeah. I was very fortunate when I worked at Disney, actually front desk. Concierge. I did, there was a period in my career where I worked front desk concierge at the resorts at Disney, particularly the All-Stars, but when you're trained, you're homed at one, but you can work at any of the resorts. I'd worked at Disney for several years prior to that, in several different departments: attractions, entertainment, youth education series, which is part of the Disney Institute, and several attractions. So a lot of variety there and different cross utilizations. Disney's a big company. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Well, anyways, there is. There just is.
When you really think about it, it's not just the parks. There's so many things.
There's so many things. And I was fortunate enough and smart enough to get into as much stuff as I could. So I learned and developed myself as an individual while also learning other things and other skills, which have paid off in my career. But this guy came up to me, and I was at All Star Movies at working front desk, and this guy came up to me and he was like, I have to say something to somebody. And I was like, okay, sir.
Yeah.
And I was concierge, so this was kind of customer service, I guess you would say, for the hotels. And he's like, okay, well, I don't think we're ever coming to Disney again. And I said, really? Oh, why not? And he started this huge story, and all of it was confirmable. Like, I knew he was telling the truth. So it was things like he got on Snow White, which was a ride at the time. Now it's a princess meet and greet, but Snow White's Scary Adventure, and it broke down. And they were evac'd off. That was recorded, and it was something that had happened. They had gotten on test track several times, and it had broken down outside in the rain, and they were evac'd off in the rain. Then they got on a bus at some point, and the transmission died on the bus. So then they had to wait for another bus to come pick them up. And the reason why they booked the trip was so the daughter was old enough to go on Rock and Roller Coaster. And one of the launch mechanisms, they were waiting for a part. So that had been down for 3 days, which just happened to be the 3 days during their stay. Then they had booked reservations to eat at one of the restaurants at the Magic Kingdom. It was a Mickey's Not So Scary night. And the reservation was for 5:30, but the park closed at 6. And so they went to the restaurant and they wouldn't seat them because they said, oh, you don't have tickets to the event. So then they went to City Hall to complain, and City Hall was like, no, your reservations were for 5:30. They should have let you eat. We can take you back there. And they were like, no, because...
Wow.
Like, and it just piled on. And all of this was confirmable stuff that I knew as an agent had gone on, because we would get these blasts of, hey, people may complain about this. Hey, this may happen. And so I said, this is really hard for me to digest, because I love Disney. And even though I worked for the company at the time, I still do. I feel like that they do provide good escapism, of course, because that's why people pay a lot of money to go to Disney. And so I went back to my manager and I said, hey, I've got some ideas. Here's this guy's situation. And he pulled up his file from his account, and all of it had been documented. He had gone to City Hall, that he had made a complaint. They had put notes in there. All of the guest service recovery that they had provided at the time were documented in there. He didn't overinflate any of his stories. I could tell it was genuine. So I said, here's the deal. It's such and such a time. They're getting ready for Day Parade. If I can get one of our vans, I can take them to the Magic Kingdom. I can call one of my old managers from Parade, see if I can set up a VIP meet and greet in City Hall. My manager at the resort at the time had used to work in guest relations at City Hall, so he had some connections there, so we were able to get the VIP meet and greet room. He gave me the keys to the van, wrote me some fast passes. He's like, put them on some rides, make it a good experience. And I drove, and the whole time I'm thinking, I'm driving this family to the Magic Kingdom. And we take them up there, and we take them in for their meet and greet. And here I am wearing my All-Stars uniform and everything. I take them in for their meet and greet, and it's just a dad and their daughter who's 12, like 11 or 12. And I had done the youth education series, and I had worked in the Magic Kingdom for years, so I knew a lot of the history. So we then caught the train, which I knew all about because I'd been a conductor on the train, so I told them all about the trains. We got off in Frontierland. They wanted to ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, so we rode Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I didn't ride it. I just put them on it, and then
I rode it.
And then we got back on the train and went to Space Mountain, and they got on, and I had worked at Space Mountain before that. So I went in and everybody was like, hey, Sam, how's it going, Sam? And they're like, hey, you know everybody here. And it was just really great because they felt like they had gotten this personalized experience. So then I drove them back to the All-Stars, and the guy got out of the van, and the family was standing there right in front of the entryway of the hotel. And the guy breaks down in tears, and he's like, this is going to make the flight home so much easier to digest. And I said, I only hope, because my manager was like, well, we can give them free tickets. We can do this. I'll give them back half of their stay. And I was like, they're never coming back.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted escapism, and we gave them a slap in the face. So my goal was to give them a quick sense of wow before they left. And I hope that's what they got. I don't know what their story was or their situation. I never heard anything back from it, and that was probably a decade ago. It was 2010. So, but I was fortunate to be in an environment where my managers supported my ideas and had more to add to it. And we were able to take this family's several-day vacation of crap and at least give them 2 to 3 hours of what they thought they were going to get. And that was just really fun and I was happy to be able to provide it. because they had spent thousands of dollars, and the money wasn't the issue. It was, I need to step away from my life for a week, and I didn't get that, and I don't know what to do. You know?
So Sam went way above and beyond.
I go above and beyond all the time. So, but
just getting clothes wasn't enough.
No.
Sam was like, I did the whole entire VIP thing. It's all right.
Who needs to be a VIP tour guide when I make my own VIP tours?
I'll just get you flip-flop shorts and a shirt. It's fine. That's all right.
Jose loves to go traveling out with me because I am full of fun facts that I don't even know I know. And when we went to Europe, there was a lot of places we went, and I was like, oh, because I love history, and I'd be like, oh, this and this and this about this and this and this and this. And I was like, I think that's right. And then the tour guide would then say, oh, and this and this and this happened, and da 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 da. And I'd be like, see?
I'm like, Sam, let the tour guide do her job.
And I didn't know she was going to be telling these things. But yeah, so those are just a few situations where we've had great customer service.
Yeah.
Like really good customer service.
I mean, there's so many of them that we can write a book about it.
Yeah.
But
So this episode really is as a tribute to those who work in the service industry, because a lot of you are still working as essential employees. And we want you to know that we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody that is in the service industry, because what you provide as a value is not necessarily valued at the level or height or the monetary value that it really should be. Because you have to understand, the service industry developed over the millennia from slaves to servants to service, right? And this is work that people did not want to do. Like even in ancient Greece, they had slaves do their work because life was too important to work.
yeah.
And it's interesting that we now put such a value on that good customer service, but we don't necessarily compensate that the value amount. And I hope that catches up to a certain degree. But we want to say thank you to everybody that has provided us with great customer service when we've gone out and sought it out, because sometimes you do need an escape. And like right now, we all need an escape, but we can't really get it. So we realize the value of that escapism. So we're watching movies and stuff right now, but even that is created by somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody's creating that experience for you. So, but yeah, hey Heather, yes, it was story time again with Sam, so I'm full of them, you know it. I think that wraps up this episode.
Yeah, pretty much it.
So thank you all for joining us. Again, we are Welcome to Sam Jose. Please check out our YouTube channel at Welcome to Sam Jose. Just go search in the search engine at Welcome to Sam Jose, all one word, the @ symbol, and our videos will come up. See which ones you like and comment on the ones you like. Let us know what you like about them so we can continue to improve this process. It's been fun for us, but we need your help. Like we definitely need your help to know which way to steer the ship, right?
It's a big ship.
It's a very big ship. And we have grand plans with it. So, but thank you for watching, and we appreciate you, and you have a great night. Stay strong, be kind, be well, and thanks.
Bye, guys.